Now we're going to talk about an understanding of the third gender through understanding our mythology. So a lot of Hindu temples have got artwork as well as sculptures which show and depict homosexuality. What is your take on what we can understand? Because a lot of people also worship Ardhanareshwar, which is again Shiva and Shakti, a fusion of the two. What can we understand, of course, about homosexuality and queer issues through understanding our scriptures? And what can a young person who has questions about these try and understand from these to make himself or herself feel more comfortable about the entire situation?
So India is the only country, when I'm saying India, the South Asia is the only part of the world where there were always three genders, never two. So Europe and America, this is male, female, male, female.
Right.
But India always had a third gender, and different words are used for it. Almost 50 words exist in Tamil, in Sanskrit, in Prakrit, in Pali. Words like Napunsaka, Kliba. These are different words and we don't really know what they mean. Nowadays they use in a derogatory way.
Okay.
But it means not quite a man, not quite a woman, imperfect man, imperfect woman, not this, not that. These words are repeatedly used. For example, in Tulsi Ramcharitmanas, there is a line which Ram is telling Kaka Bhusandi, Nar Naputsak Nari Ya Jeev Charachar Koi Sarva Bhav Bhajet Kapat Taji Mohe Param Priya Soi. So he is saying that any living creature on earth who approaches me with love without malice is dear to me. But when he is quoting living creatures, normally we would say plants, animals, humans, or plants, animals, male, female. But he says Nar, Napunsak, Nari, Vajiv, Charachar. Charachar is plants and animals. So you have, why is he talking three? So Tulsidas 500 years ago is talking about a third gender. In Bhagavad Gita there is a word used again derogatory called Kliba, again which means not male, not female, queer. So the best word for this is queer, which was coined in the West only in the 21st century. So 2,500 years ago in Panini's Mahabhashya, people were already accepting that there were people who don't fit into either category. In fact, Jains 1500 years ago wrote this very complex book where they said that our bodies have two parts. There is Dravya Sharir and there is Bhava Sharir. Dravya Sharir is physical, which can be seen, the biology, and Bhava Sharir is psychological. It's your feelings, desires. Imagine they're talking this. And they said Dravya Sharir is of three types: male, female, and a mix. Bhava Sharira is attracted to male, attracted to female, attracted to the both. And now you have a 3x3 matrix. Male body who is attracted to male, male who is attracted to female, male who is attracted to both. So now they are talking about bisexuality, they are talking about sexuality, which is about Bhava Sharira. They are talking about gender, which is about Dravya Sharira. So now today we are saying gender, sexuality. 1500 years ago, Jain monks are talking about Bhava Sharira, which is sexuality, and Dravya Sharira, which is gender. So they had these ideas. Of course, the reason they were discussing this was because they were talking about monasticism. Who can be a monk? Who cannot be a monk? Should gay people be allowed to be monks? Should bisexuals be allowed to be monks? Should heterosexuals be allowed to be monks? Who should be? So they're discussing this. In the process, they're doing this analysis. So we were always talking in our culture about fluidity. You know, in Tantra texts, in Ayurveda texts, they will say man is born when the male white seed is stronger than the female red seed. A woman is born when the female red seed is stronger than the male seed. And hermaphrodite is born, or an androgynous creature, or an Napunsaka, Kliba is born when the two are of equal strength. 1000 years ago, you are talking about what is called a bell curve, with one extreme being heterosexual, the other being homosexual, mix between the two. That the fact that basically you should look at it mota moti, not in detail. They are saying that there is fluidity, which the West did not accept till the 20th century. They thought nature is rigid and any fluidity is abnormal.
Unnatural.
But in India, they said, you know, you can have a lion, you can have a man, you can have a man lion, Narasimha. You can have an elephant, you can have a human, you can mix the two and have Ganesha. So we have always accepted fluidity, which is queer. Gender fluidity, emotions fluidity,
Right.
attraction is different, our body is different.
Right.
We have accepted diversity. So whenever a young person is talking about accept diversity, the world is different. Not everybody is going to be the same. Everybody is not going to be a mango tree. Somebody is going to be a tamarind tree.
Right.
You know, and everybody won't like mangoes. There will be people who will also like tamarind.
Absolutely.
How do you deal? Because you are told that all boys should like mangoes, and a boy says, no, but I like tamarind. How will you treat him? It's as simple
Absolutely.
as that.
It's just a choice.
It's just it's their nature. You know, some of your
Absolutely.
friends there is somebody who loves to eat rasgulla and somebody likes to eat jalebi.
Right.
Will you discriminate against a person who eats jalebi?
Absolutely.
Or somebody says, I can't eat sweets, I hate it.
Right.
But but how can you not like sweets? Everybody likes sweets. But
Right.
nature is not like that. There are people in this world who cannot eat sweets. They hate it.
That's
It's
how
not a conscious decision. Their body is designed that way.
Right.
So when I use the word choice, we have to be careful. They're choosing not to eat sweets because they can't eat sweet. It's not that they are dieting.
Absolutely.
They are not
Absolutely.
dieting. They can't. They don't. उसमें मजा नहीं है उसको.
Right.
But for some people, they want to eat sweets. So the person who loves to eat sweets will say that anybody who says he's not, is depriving himself. But he's not depriving. He's saying my body, because of my karma, my DNA, is not attracted to sweets at all. And that's all it is. We just make it so complicated.
Right.
The scriptures are very simple. They accept everything. That's why the rishis were always calm and composed. They were not bigots. They were not homophobic people.
Right.
They were like, होता है दुनिया में अलग प्रकार के लोग होते हैं. And sometimes you have to deal with difficult people. You have to live. What to do now? You thought your son was a mango tree, but now he is a tamarind tree. You know?
It's a tree.
Now if you have mango tree, you can make amras. With tamarind tree, you can make tamarind juice. So make tamarind juice. You know, it is also valuable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So nature is diverse.
Right.
And these stories like Ardhanarishwar is talking Shiv बोलते हैं शिव है, शक्ति है, शिव शक्ति भी है. Sometimes the goddess is alone, sometimes God is alone, sometimes they are together. In fact, they are so together that they become half of each other.
Right. Right, which is a fusion of the two together. Great. Is there also some story from maybe the scriptures that you would like to state something about this?
So the funny thing is, Indian scriptures and the subcontinental stories usually talk about transgender. So you have stories of Shikhandi in Mahabharata, of the woman who becomes a man, or you have stories of Riksha in the Ramayana, of the male who becomes female. You have in Buddhist literature stories of men falling in love with other men. So there's a Buddhist monk who falls in love with a Naga. Now, how do you make sense of the story? Buddhist monk is trying to become a monk, and then a Naga falls in love with him and spends all his time with him.
Right.
And he's not sure what he's feeling because he wants to be a monk. And then the story goes that the other monks become jealous of the attention he gets from the Naga. So they tell him that you ask the Naga for Nagmani. He says, if you truly love me, you give me the Nagmani. Now the problem is Nagas never give away the Nagmani. So the Nag gets upset and goes away. And the moment the Nag goes away, the Buddhist monk feels pain and suffering, and he can't live without him, longing, suffering, and he understands how desire is the cause of suffering.
Okay.
And how is then he becomes a Arhat, he becomes a. But the story talks about homosexual desire.
Right.
But they're telling it very casually. They are not like, oh my God. So for all you know, it could have been a Nagin. The story would still be the same.
Absolutely.
But they choose a Nag.
Absolutely. So the spotlight wasn't really on the fact that it was a homosexual desire. The spotlight was on desire. Right, absolutely. So what we think probably is that rather than putting the spotlight on the homosexuality, it was just accepted as normal.
Diversity is the word to use.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your clarification, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.